Today on MTG Unpacked, we're getting stuck into the new Bloomburrow Commander deck, Family Matters. So this is a blue, red, white deck, and the commander here is Zinnia Valley's Voice. So it looks like another token deck here, taking advantage of the ETB effects. We've got a Collector Booster Sample Pack 100 card deck with 10 new cards, deck box, 10 double-sided tokens, strategy insert, and reference card. Okay, so let's get into it. So these are setting you back about 35 bucks on TCG Player about now. So not too bad. Birds of a feather fight together. So expecting to see a whole bunch of birds in this one, along with other creatures that take advantage of the enter the battlefield effects. So here is our deck. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We've got a flyer. Also some punch outs here. So that is cool. And then in here, what do we got? So no life wheels anymore, but we do have a Collector Booster Sample Pack along with a deck box, which is something you would generously call a deck box. It's sort of flimsy, but should be enough to get you started. So you can quite comfortably fit a single-sleeved deck in there, I bet. Alright, so let's see what this deck is all about. So here we have Zinnia Valley's Voice. So this is the commander of this deck. So we've got some lore there, you can read about that. And then on the other side, playing the deck, so we've got the Offspring mechanic, which is going to be interesting. That's new for this set, along with some commander rules in case you're new to the format. Alright, so let's get into our Collector Booster Sample Pack here, just to give us a little taste of the Collector Booster goodness. And yeah, usually nothing too exciting in these, but we did have some good luck in the previous episode. Alright, so here's a Liliana as a squirrel. I'd like to get my hands on that card at some point. Then we have Scrap Shooter. So this is a showcase version and a foil Rabid Gnaw. So you will likely get something different than what I pulled here. Okay, so let's get into the deck itself. So we have covered 3 so far, and we have 1 more to go. Alright, finally got into it. So let's check out. You'll notice there is no foil display commander with the thick cardstock anymore. So instead, we're getting these foils here. So this is awesome. Zinnia Valley's Voice. It's a mythic legendary creature, 1/3/4 blue, red, and white. So this is a bird bard. It has flying and it gets +X/+0, where X is the number of other creatures you control with base power 1. Creature spells you cast have Offspring 2, so you may pay an additional 2 as you cast a creature spell. If you do, when that creature enters, create a 1/1 token copy of it. Alright, so we're going to be cranking out the tokens like mad. And the other commander here, we have Arthur Marigold Knight, legendary creature, Mouse Knight. It's a mythic. 4/5 for 2 blue, red, and white. Has haste. Whenever Arthur and at least 1 other creature attack, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Return that creature to its owner's hand at end of combat. Alright, so that's cool. And what else do we have here? We've got Elspeth as a rat or a mouse. I think that's actually a mouse. It's a mythic. So fun what they've done with the Planeswalkers here. So we have Elspeth, Sun's Champion, legendary Planeswalker Elspeth. 4 loyalty for 4 and 2 white. Her +1, create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. -7, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +2/+2 and have flying. Alright, so let's move on to the rest of the deck here. So we start off here with Jazal Goldmane, legendary creature cat warrior, 4/4 for 2 and 2 white. Has first strike, and for 3 and 2 white, attacking creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of attacking creatures. Then we have Martial Coup, sorcery for X and 2 white. Create X, 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. Storm of Souls, sorcery for 4 and 2 white. Return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit with flying in addition to its other types. Exile Storm of Souls. That's pretty crazy, especially in the late game. Then we have Selfless Spirit, creature spirit cleric, 2/1 for 1 and white, has flying. And if you sacrifice it, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So nice little combat trick there. And then we've got the Jacked Rabbit, love it. Creature, Rabbit Warrior, 1/2 for X, 1 and white, has Ravenous. So this creature enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. If X is 5 or more, draw a card when it enters. And whenever Jacked Rabbit attacks, create a number of 1/1 white rabbit creature tokens equal to Jacked Rabbit's power. Squash, what it is and what it does. Alright. Then we have Murmuration, enchantment for 4 and white. Birds you control get +1/+1 and have Vigilance. And at the beginning of your end step, for each spell you've cast this turn, create a 1/2 blue bird creature token with flying, named Stormcrow. That is hilarious. Blade Splicer, creature, Phyrexian human artificer, 1/1 for 2 and white. When it enters, create a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian golem artifact creature token. Golems you control have first strike. Then we have Hanged Executioner, creature spirit, 1/1 for 2 and white with flying. When it enters, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. And for 3 and white, exile it. Exile target creature. And then we have a Loyal Warhound, creature dog, 3/1 for 1 and white with Vigilance. When it enters, if an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for a basic plains card, put it onto battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then we have a Restoration Angel, creature angel, 3/4 for 3 and white with flash and flying. When it enters, you may exile target non-angel creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Then we've got a Skyclave Apparition, creature core spirit, 2/2 for 1 and 2 white. When it enters, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with mana value 4 or less. And when it leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX blue illusion creature token, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. And then we've got a split card here, Dusk Till Dawn. Dusk is a sorcery for 2 and 2 white. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. And then Dawn is a sorcery for 3 and 2 white. Has Aftermath. So cast this spell only from your graveyard, then exile it. Return all creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So I think we're going to have a ton of those in this deck. Then we have Boss's Chauffeur, creature elf citizen, 0/0 for 4 and white. It enters with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to 1 plus the number of other creatures you control. Has Alliance. Whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on Boss's Chauffeur. And when it dies, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token for each +1/+1 counter on it. Then we have Angel of the Ruins, artifact creature angel, 5/7 for 5 and 2 white with flying. When it enters, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. Has Planescycling 2, so you pay the 2, discard this card, you get to search your library for a Plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Ooh, then we got a Mythic Luminous Broodmoth. Nice reprint here from Ikoria. Creature insect, 3/4 for 2 and 2 white with flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. Then we have another Mythic. It's Sun Titan, creature giant, 6/6 for 4 and 2 white with Vigilance. Whenever it enters or attacks, you may return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then we got a Polywog Prodigy, creature frog wizard, 1/3 for 1 and a blue. Has Evolve. So whenever a creature you control enters, if that creature has greater power or toughness than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell with mana value less than Polywog Prodigy's power, draw a card. Then we have Fortune Teller's Talent. So this is an enchantment class. So it gains the next level as a sorcery to add its ability. So for blue, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. Level 2 for 3 and a blue. As long as you've cast a spell this turn, you may play cards from the top of your library. And for level 3 for 2 and a blue, spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 2 less to cast. Then we have Ether Channeler. Creature, human, wizard, 2/1 for 2 and a blue. When it enters, choose one. Create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. Return another target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, or draw a card. Then we have Pull from Tomorrow. Instant for X and 2 blue. Draw X cards and discard a card. And Shield Broker. Creature, Cephalid Advisor. 3/4 for 3 and 2 blue. So when it enters, put a shield counter on target non-commander creature you don't control. You gain control of that creature for as long as it has a shield counter on it. And if it would be dealt damage or destroyed, remove a shield counter from it instead. Then we have Stolen by the Fae. Sorcery for X and 2 blue. Return target creature with mana value X to its owner's hand. You create X 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying. Bident of Thassa. Legendary enchantment artifact for 2 and 2 blue. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and for 1 and a blue tap. Creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. We've got a Curiosity Crafter. Creature, bird, wizard, 3/3 for 3 and a blue with flying. You have no maximum hand size. That will come in handy with some of these other cards here. Whenever a creature token you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Devilish Valet. Creature, devil warrior, 1/3 for 2 and a red. Trample and Haste, has Alliance. Whenever another creature you control enters, double Devilish Valet's power until end of turn. Then we have Siege Gang Commander. It's a creature, Goblin, 2/2 for 3 and 2 red. When it enters, create 3 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens, and for 1 and a red, sacrifice a Goblin. Siege Gang Commander deals 2 damage to any target. Then we have Echoing Assault. Enchantment for 4 and a red. Creature tokens you control have Menace. And whenever you attack a player, choose target non-token creature that's attacking that player. Create a token that's a copy of that creature except it's 1/1. The token enters tapped and attacking that player. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So that's fun. They essentially bounce back and forth throughout the turns. Then we have Agate Instigator. Creature, Lizard Rogue, 1/3 for 1 and a red. Has Offspring, 1 and a red, so you can pay that additional as you cast this spell. If you do, when this creature enters, create a 1/1 token copy of it. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Calamity of Cinders. Sorcery for 5 and 2 red, has Convoke. So your creatures can outcast this spell. Each creature you tap while casting a spell pays for 1 or 1 mana of that creature's colour. Calamity of Cinders deals 6 damage to each untapped creature. That is nuts. Then we have a Rose Room Treasurer. Creature, Ogre Warrior, 4/3 for 3 and a red with Alliance. Whenever another creature you control enters, create a treasure token. If this is the first or second time this ability has resolved this turn, otherwise you may pay X. When you do, Rose Room Treasurer deals X damage to any target. And we have another Mythic. Combat Celebrant. Creature, human warrior, 4/1 for 2 and a red. If Combat Celebrant hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. And when you do, untap all other creatures you control, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So an exerted creature won't untap during your next untap step. Okay, moving on to more of the deck here. We have another Mythic. It is Inferno Titan. Creature giant, 6/6 for 4 and 2 red. And for red, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And whenever it enters or attacks, it deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. Then we have Time Wipe. Sorcery for 2, 2 white and a blue. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. Rapid Augmenter. It's a creature, Otter Artificer. That's an interesting one. 1/3 for 1 blue and red with haste. Whenever another creature you control with base power 1 enters, it gains haste until end of turn. And whenever another creature you control enters, if it wasn't cast, put a +1/+1 counter on Rapid Augmenter, and Rapid Augmenter can't be blocked this turn. Then we have Solemn Simulacrum, Artifact Creature Golem, 2/2 for 4. When it enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle, and when it dies, you may draw a card. Helm of the Host, another nice reprint. Legendary Artifact Equipment for 4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of a equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. That token gains haste, equip for 5. Then we've got a Glacial Fortress. Land enters tapped unless you control a plains or an island. Tap for white or blue. And Adakar Wastes. Tap for colorless or tap for white or blue, and it deals 1 damage to you. Temple of Enlightenment enters tapped. When it enters, scry 1, tap for white or blue. And Castle Ardenvale enters tapped unless you control a plains, tap for white, and for 2 and 2 white, tap. Create a 1/1 white human creature token. Then we've got Seachrome Coast enters tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands, tap for white or blue. Sulphur Falls enters tapped unless you control an island or mountain, tap for blue or red. And Cascade Bluffs, land, tap for colorless or for blue or red, tap, add 2 blue, red and blue, or 2 red. Then we have Exotic Orchard, tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. And Clifftop Retreat enters tapped unless you control a mountain or plains, tap for red or white. Shivan Reef, tap for colorless or tap for blue or red, and it deals 1 damage to you. Temple of Triumph enters tapped. When it enters, scry 1, tap for red or white. And Battlefield Forge, tap for colorless or tap for red or white, and it deals 1 damage to you. Skycloud Expanse, for 1 tap, add white and blue. And I will note the mana base in here seems to be pretty decent. We've got a Temple of Epiphany enters tapped. When it enters, scry 1, tap for blue or red. Ferris Lake, for 1 tap, add blue and red. And Rugged Prairie, tap for colorless for red or white, tap, add 2 red, 2 white, or red and white. Then we've got a Sunscorched Divide. For 1 tap, you can add red and white. And Spirited Companion, enchantment creature dog, 1/1 for 1 and white. When it enters, draw a card. Inspiring Overseer, creature angel cleric, 2/1 for 2 and white with flying. When it enters, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Then we have Cuttadil, sorcery for 2 and white. Each opponent draws a card, then you draw a card for each opponent who drew a card this way. And my memory card just had some trouble, so hopefully I didn't lose any video then. We've got Path to Exile, instant for a single white. Exile target creature. Its controller may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then we've got an Illusory Ambusher, creature Cat Illusion, 4/1 for 4 and a blue with flash. Whenever it is dealt damage, draw that many cards. Rowdy Research, instant for 6 and a blue. This spell costs 1 less to cast. For each creature that attack this turn, draw 3 cards. Then we have a Plume Creed Escort, creature Bird Scout, 2/1 for 1 and a blue with flash and flying. When it enters, target creature control gains hexproof until end of turn. Rapid Hybridization, instant for a single blue. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. That creature's controller creates a 3/3 green frog lizard creature token. Then we have Junkwinder, creature serpent 5/6 for 5 and 2 blue. Has affinity for tokens, so this spell costs 1 less to cast for each token you control. And whenever a token you control enters, tap target non-land permanent an opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Then we have Aetherize, instant for 3 and a blue. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand. Alright, so let's grab the rest of the deck here. So we'll separate out the tokens. Okay, so we have Charter Course, sorcery for 1 and a blue. Draw 2 cards and discard a card unless you attacked this turn. Tetsuko Umezawa, fugitive, legendary creature, human rogue, 1/3 for 1 and a blue. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked, and that is awesome with this deck because you'll often have quite a few of those. Thopter Engineer, creature, human artificer, 1/3 for 2 and a red. When it enters, create a 1/1 colors Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Artifact creatures you control have haste. Then we have Cloud Blazer, creature, human scout, 2/2 for 3 white and blue with flying. When it enters, you gain life and draw 2 cards. Arcane Signet, artifact for 2. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Boros Signet, artifact for 2. For 1, tap, add red and white. And Ornithopter of Paradise, artifact creature Thopter for 2. Has flying. Tap to add 1 mana of any color. So this is a 0/2. And Azorius Signet, artifact for 2. For 1, tap, add white and blue. Then we've got an Izzet Signet, artifact for 2. For 1, tap, add blue and red. And Circuit Mender, artifact creature insect, 2/3 for 3. When it enters, you gain 2 life, and when it leaves the battlefield, draw a card. Felwar Stone, artifact for 2. Tap to add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. And Soul Ring, I was wondering when we'd see this one. Artifact for 1. Tap to add 2 colorless. Mind Stone, artifact for 2. Tap 4 colorless. For 1, tap, sack it, draw a card. And Terramorphic Expanse, it's a land. Tap, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Path of Ancestry, another land, enters tap. Tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity, and when that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Then we have Thriving Heath, enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color other than white. Tap for white or 1 mana of the chosen color. Evolving Wilds, tap, sack it, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And Thriving Isle, enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color other than blue. Tap for blue or 1 mana of the chosen color. Thriving Bluff, enters tapped. As it enters, choose a color other than red. And tap for red or 1 mana of the chosen color. Command Tower, so land, tap to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Mystic Monastery, enters tap, tap for blue, red, or white. And Plains, so we'll see how many we've got here. 5 of those. Islands, 4 of those. And mountains, 4 of those. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the tokens here. So we've got a 1/1 soldier, and on the other side a 1/1 citizen. Then we have a 1/1 human, 1/1 soldier, 1/1 rabbit, very cute token there, and a treasure token. Tap, select this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. So another 1/1 rabbit. Then we've got an Agate Instigator 1/1 token, Lizard Rogue. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent, and this token's mana cost is 1 and a red. Then we have a Stormcrow, hilarious, flying, 1/2. And then we have a 3/3 frog lizard, another Stormcrow, and a 1/1 flying bird. 3/3 Phyrexian Golem on the other side, a flying fairy 1/1, and a 1/1 flying spirit. Got the fairy on the other side, 1/1 goblin, yes, and a 1/1 flying Thopter. Star Illusion on the other side, another 1/1 goblin. Parts of the turn and popular Magic formats. Alright, so this one also has tokens like the squirrel one we looked at, but this has a lot more cards that rely on enter the battlefield effects. So whenever a card enters, you get some sort of advantage there. You'll notice as well, there's some that can come back from the graveyard, and so you also get the ETB effect there as well. So this deck looks pretty interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one, and stay tuned, we've got one more to go. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.